Hi, and thanks for checking out the Module Objectives tutorial. If you take the time to complete this tutorial, then you'll have a better understanding how to use the module objectives and essentially earn higher scores on your quizzes and exams. Okay, let's get started. What you need to realize now is that this class is more than just rote memorization of concepts or theories. Although this basic knowledge is essential for success, I'll be testing you on your retention, demonstrated understanding, critical analysis, and ability to use knowledge. Many students have asked me if I have a study guide. My answer is always the same. Use the module objectives. They are your study guides. They're designed to help you acquire the knowledge and understanding that you'll need to successfully pass quizzes and exams. So it's important that you spend time working through the objectives, which is exactly what these tutorials are designed to help you do. So if you haven't looked at the objectives yet, now would be a good time to do that. Pause the tutorial until you've had a chance to glance through the module objectives. Now that you've seen the objectives, you probably noticed that I've organized the objectives by chapters. For example, if you look at the Module A objectives, you can see that all the Module A objectives can be found in Chapter 1. In fact, there's a lot of important information in this study guide you should pay attention to. You can also see that there are some objectives that are not directly out of your textbook, called the supplemental readings, which means that you'll find this information in one or more of the other resources I've posted for you in the weekly schedule, most likely from the tutorials, so it's important that you pay attention to where the information is coming from for each objectives. I've made the module objectives to help guide you through the process of learning. However, it's your responsibility to find the information for each objective, from both the chapters and the supplemental readings. Although I do not specify which pages the information can be found within the chapters, you should be able to find the information with a little bit of work. In other tutorials, I will show you how to dissect each objective to figure out what it's asking and give you some suggestions on how to take notes. There are many different levels of learning, and these module objectives are designed to help you figure out what type of learning I'm asking you to achieve. These are the italicized words to the left of each objective. As you survey the module objectives, you need to pay attention to these italicized words. This is its associated level of learning, and there are 5 different words that you can expect to see: remembering, understanding, analyzing, applying, evaluating. These words identify its objective by its associated level of learning, but most importantly, they're there to help you better understand how to achieve each objective. Keep reading for more explanation about each of these words. Remembering. This type of objective is the most basic form of learning you're asked to achieve in preparation for quizzes and exams. This can also be thought of as rote memorization. What's most important for these objectives is that you are able to identify the concepts and memorize them. It's important to understand that all of the higher levels of learning require that you acquire some basic knowledge, hence this is the foundation for all levels of learning. Understanding. This type of objective is a higher level of learning that cannot be achieved without mastery of remembering first. This level of learning requires that you demonstrate comprehension of that basic knowledge. Analyzing. This type of objective is a higher level of learning that requires both remembering and understanding. This objective is one form of critical thinking and may ask you to contrast, look for similarities and differences; differentiate, look for differences; synthesize, bring together concepts, theories, etc.; dissect, break concepts, theories, etc. into their smaller component parts. Applying. The purpose of this objective is to demonstrate your ability to use knowledge, which requires remembering as well as understanding of the concepts, theories, etc. you are learning. With this level of learning, you'll be asked to use knowledge in some way to demonstrate your learning. Evaluating. The purpose of this type of objective is to draw conclusions based on the information that you've learned and demonstrate your critical thinking skills. Let's look at some examples of each level of learning. In Module C, you'll learn about many different developmental theories, one of which looks at social development according to the research by Erik Erikson. Here's an example of how you might be asked to learn this theory at each level of learning. Remembering. What theory did Erikson develop? Understanding. What socio-emotional milestones will be faced during each stage? Analyzing. How does Erikson's theory relate to Piaget's theory? Applying. Read a story about a young child and tell me what level of development he's at according to Erikson. Evaluating. How can Erikson's theory be helpful for parents and school teachers? Keep in mind that you would not be able to achieve mastery of the analyzing, applying, or evaluating objectives unless you first memorized and understood the theory's key concepts, which are those lower levels of learning we've already covered. As you begin to work through the objective, you should always pay attention to these italicized words so that you're clear about how I expect you to learn. In scanning through these objectives, you should see that there are fewer remembering objectives than there are understanding or analyzing objectives. This class is grounded in these higher levels of learning, but to achieve them, you must first master the basic levels of learning. This concludes the tutorial. Now that you've had an overview of how the objectives are structured, you're ready to learn how to dissect them and take notes.